Good afternoon, John O'Hersey from the French Wine Centre here for another episode of Taste and Drink, single site series, 2017 Domaine Pierre, Amiot, Morey, Denis Le Ruchots. Now, before we begin talking about the Loup D or 1er Cru class vineyard of Le Ruchots, I have to apologise that this wasn't released on Thursday. I made a promise to make sure that we released every Thursday. However, we had a shipment of Domaine Michel Nilon and Domaine Bart arrived during the week, so it's quite a frantic week. So everyone that ordered that pre-arrival, the wines will be on their way to them now, and they will receive them next week. So, back to the wine. This week we are going to be drinking and tasting a 2017 Domaine Pierre, Amiot, Morey Denis 1er Cru, Le Ruchots. So, Morey Denis is a bit of a funny one. While it's a tier 1 village along the likes of Vosne, Romany, Chambol, Gevrey, it's much lesser known, and that's because it's the smallest village in the Côte de Nuit, which is the northern part of the Côte d'Or, most famous for Pinot Noir. Now, to the north is Gevrey-Chambertin, to the south is Chambol-Musigny. Now, the other interesting thing that makes Morey Denis unique is so much of it, a very large percentage, is Grand Cru and 1er Cru. There is a minute amount of village level wines. Now, pre-appellation days, when it was a legal requirement to call these wines Morey Denis, the growers would call them Chambol-Musigny or Gevrey-Chambertin because they could, and they were far better known in the marketplace. Now, they were the last village to append the name of their best vineyard to the township. So the village was Morey, and then their vineyard, Clos Saint-Denis, was appended to it in, I believe, 1937 or thereabouts. Now, it could have gone any way. Clos de Tar is another Grand Cru, or Clos de Lombray is another Grand Cru. However, they're monopoles. So obviously all the growers weren't too keen on naming a village after one family that owned a vineyard. So it could have easily been Morey Denis or Morey de la Roche after Clos de la Roche. However, it was Morey Denis. Now, Morey Denis, the best way to describe the wines is to the south, where it abuts Chambol, it is very much a Chambol-esque, sort of terroir, which is perfumed and pretty and full of violets. However, it is just dialed back a little bit. Now, the northern end is more like Gevrey, and a little bit more sort of masculine, a little bit more tannic. However, again, the tannins are just dialed back, so it's this nice sort of happy medium. Now, another important thing to realise is, we've touched on it before, Gevrey-Chambertin is known for being very masculine. Now, a lot of people just think straight away that that's, black fruits, but if you actually look at a lot of Gevreys, it's actually a lot of red fruits. Now, same goes with Chambol. Chambol, a lot of people just automatically think it's sort of red, sort of pretty fruits, but it's actually quite a lot of sort of black fruited, even though there's a haunting perfume to a lot of them. A lot of the wines really do have like a black sort of cherry, quite a bit of power. Now, Le Ruchots 1er Cru vineyard is the best 1er Cru vineyard in Morey Denis. Now, it's on the Chambol end. Now, it actually sits alongside Chambol 1er Cru Centeniers, Sentires, excuse the pronunciation. Now, above Ruchots on the slope, so to the west, is a slither of Bon Mar, and then Clos de Tar Grand Cru. Now, so pretty serious real estate. And below it is Clos de Bussière, which is a monopole of Domaine Georges Roumier, the incredibly sought after producer Domaine Georges Roumier. It is in a flattish sort of aspect. Where it sits, it actually is protected from the northern winds, which are quite cool, so it ripens quite a bit more. High limestone, marl, soils with a bit of gravel, produce wines of incredible sort of tension. So although it doesn't have those north sort of cooling winds, it gets nice ripe resolved tannins, but then it gets that sort of limestone influence. Now, if we have a little smell, straight away you can see the, not so distant cousin Chambol-Musigny, like sort of aromatics, perfume, very pretty. There's a lot of sort of blue and blue, black, red fruits there, sort of that spectrum. Not necessarily blue, sorry, more so red, more so black. Lots of perfume. Pierre, Amiot are 100% destemmed, and they use oak very sparingly. I believe this is 20 or 30% new wood. Ethereal, ripe tannins, intriguing, inviting, changes every smell. Really quite defined fruits, nice amount of tension, so when you smell it, cheeks are quite tight. Now let's have a sip. Again, high tone, good tension, taut. Resolved fruit, ripe tannins, moorish. I mean, that's the most important thing. That's the most beautiful thing about Chambolle, is it has this perfume and tension and moorish, lovely acidity. And this is translated into this Morey Saint-Denis. On a sort of a baby scale. Not a baby scale. The wine isn't less. It's actually probably more. But it just is less Chambolle-esque, as you would expect, because it isn't. But it definitely has those hallmarks. And then it has a little bit more breadth as well. But the palate's wonderful and long and fresh, and the acidity comes through and cleans up after the fruit. Beautiful sort of cursed cherry, touch of cola, but not an overripe sort of cola sense, in a very sort of satisfying way. In case you're wondering what the baths are there for, when the storms roll in, so behind where you are, there's a beautiful view overlooking Kaipo and meadows and across to Echunga. You can see the storms come in. I light fires underneath them and fill them up with water with the tractor, and have a couple of drinks and just relax. It gets quite warm sometimes, so you've got to sit on a rock so they don't burn your bum. Happy Sunday. I hope you're all having a glass or a bottle of wine, and cooking something nice up tonight, or going out for dinner if you can, and make the most of it, because it's a beautiful day. Thank you, and all the best.